Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Our lives are never more accelerated and equally confusing than those transitional years from teenagers to young adults. When we suddenly find ourselves in our 20s flung out on the world's dirty doorstep. Like a newborn adjusting to the light, we are temporarily blinded and confused, and we have too much freedom, too many choices, and too many decisions to make. As we navigate these new days, we wonder, will it always be like this? Who am I today? Who will I be tomorrow? Who will I eventually become? What do I believe in? What do I care about? Who will love me? Can anyone love me? These are questions that only we can answer through experience and our own flawed discoveries. Essentially, though, we are on our own. The freedom can be exhilarating, but also very scary. I recently discovered a young artist, wise beyond her years lyrically, whose authentic perspective reminded me of the confusion and sometimes painful growth that I went through in my 20s. Her brilliant music compositions, lyrics, and powerful vocals on her soon to be released album, Feral, inspired memories of what it was like or is like to be young and searching. With her brilliant album, she has captured music to keep you forever young, and she sealed it in a time capsule. Introducing to the show for the very first time, Nicole Sophia. Hi, Nicole. Welcome to the Jeremiah Show.
Hi, thank you. That was such a beautiful intro. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, thank you. I have to thank you for the inspiration. Your music opened up a flood of memories and thoughts, and it's just so thoughtful. It's that's the type of music I love, but it also brought back memories through the music and the melodies, and it kind of took me back in time a little bit. And I think that's the very best type of music that can do that, and not all of music can do that for you. So thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah.
On your new album, Feral, you confront your fears and you challenge constraints, and then you put them all out there for everyone to see. Where did you get the strength to do that?
I think the answer is actually opposite of that I don't have the strength not to. So I've never been good at like keeping things inside of myself. And I gravitated towards music at a really young age to process like the consistent and big questions inside myself and about the world. And as someone who like tried to fit in and hide as a teenager and tried to keep it calm, cool, and collected, I never did that. And I used to hate that. And now as an adult, as an artist, I feel like it's such a gift. And to me, it feels scarier not to feel and be honest with myself than it does to be like, this is where I am, this is where I'm at, take it or leave it. And I know someone else feels this way too. And if they don't, they're gonna have an experience that was close enough that also makes them feel seen in what I'm talking about.
I think we can all get that. I don't care how cool you were when you were young or in school. We all faked it, didn't we? We all, and that you said something there that really struck a chord, that you hated it. And we all hated it, didn't we? We were trying to be cool, we were trying to fit in, but you hated that you just couldn't be who you really were, right? Because you may get made fun of, or maybe people won't understand you or think you're strange. But so that what you're saying is that that feeling is now you look at it as a gift that you're able to do that. And what a gift it is. Look at you've just got incredible lyrics. You're very insightful,
Thank you.
very wise. So I think of you as brave.
Thank you.
Do you look at yourself? Do you think of yourself as brave? And is
In
there a freedom in that for you?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I don't think I walk around thinking of myself as brave because I honestly feel like I feel scared most of the time, but I do feel like in the category of bravery being defined as like be scared and do it anyways, I am brave and I think I am brave enough to sit and feel and be honest with myself even when I don't think the truth is necessarily pretty or what I want to find out. Um, and specifically, I feel like that's why I love songwriting because it's the one time where I'm like not judging any aspect of my humanity and I find all of it really compelling. Like the hot mess that I am 75% of the week, right, can feel really frustrating. But when I'm sitting down to write, it becomes this like beautiful, compelling thing that I get to figure out and discover whether or not I'm elated or crying or I've just made what feels like the biggest mistake of my life. It becomes this magical thing that I can alchemize into something bigger and that will help me process and understand what's going on. So I think it takes bravery to sit down and be willing to feel the feeling. But I also think feeling the feeling is so necessary that I almost like it, while it might be brave, it just feels so essential
Hmm.
that maybe I don't give myself credit for the fact that sitting down and feeling is very brave, especially in a world where we're kind of taught to not feel.
Right. Right. Especially now.
Yes.
Have you ever, um, when you're going through this catharsis or this process of writing and getting your feelings out there, do you ever think about an audience relating, or are you just thinking about you and getting it out and examining it for yourself? Or do you think in terms of, would this make a good song for my audience? Would they get this? Am I writing this for someone else, or are you writing it for yourself?
I'm 100, I feel like it's narcissistic to say, but like I'm 110% writing for myself, not in that I know, like not like because I know someone else is going to resonate.
Hmm.
And I think the more authentic you are with yourself, the more actually people see yourself in it. So like to me, I trust that the questions I'm having and the human experiences I'm having, while they might like the circumstances might be specific to me, the generalized aspects of my humanity are the same as everyone else's. Like while I experience love through my own filter, like everyone experiences love. While I experience grief through my own filter, everyone experiences grief. Everyone experiences fear and anger and joy and passion. And the more that I'm not thinking about, like, the whole thing, right, is not trying to perform for anyone else. So songwriting has been
Right.
something that I've been doing since I was tiny, and it's just been always my native language. So I've never really thought about writing for other people because it's always been that when I sit down and I feel my feelings most authentically for myself and I take the time and the space to answer the questions inside of me for myself, that ends up being the most resonant thing for everyone.
I'm glad you answered it that way, but to tell you the truth, I think I already knew that that was going to be your answer. And the reason why, though, Nicole, is that I would describe you as so authentic, and your lyrics is so authentic and genuine. If you were writing it to be a hit, or you were writing it with someone else in mind, hoping that your audience resonated, I don't think it would come off as genuine. Your lyrics are really sort of this is me as a new fan and recently discovering you. Your lyrics are like a peek into your soul. It feels like as a fan that I really get to know you, that you're really giving me 100% of who you are. And that you can't fake that. So I felt like that was probably going to be your answer. I'm glad that it is that you don't sit down and think about the audience, because they're going to find you. Audiences, listeners are going to find you and relate. and you don't, there's nothing fake about it, about the lyrics.
Thank you.
Feral, the album, your new album, is described as fresh, flirty, and fearless. Feral takes listeners through the complicated nuances of self-discovery. I like that. I like that summary of the album. What are some of the nuances that you have examined in your own self-discovery?
Oh God. I mean, there's so much. One of my favorite things that I did very intentionally in the sequencing of the album. So there's like two songs, literally a song called Sex on the Internet, followed by a song called Hope That We'll Figure It Out, which is about me having a three-way dance floor makeout at a gay party in Nashville. And then after those two songs, there's stripped acoustic, just guitar and my voice, a song called If You're Gonna Love Me, which was about my realization that actually I don't want to date anyone right now. All I want is a good friend that makes me feel loved and safe. And like allowing that contradiction to be true. The same girl that was flirting with people on kink dating apps is on the internet, and that's how we got sex on the internet, is the same person that was like, actually, I don't want sex. I don't just want sex. I want intimacy and I want friends that feel like a family. And like being able to just be open with myself about acknowledging the contradictions, and like the songs about sex, like the literal tagline for Sex on the Internet is I'm healing my inner child talking about sex on the internet. And that's the like one of the most Nicole sentences I've ever heard. And it's true because like the reason I wrote that song isn't because the experience was so fun and spicy. It was, but it was me sitting there talking about sex with someone on the internet that made me realize that like I'm an adult that gets to make my own choices with my time and my body and my freedom, and like there's so much power that exists in like the messiness and like the trying and failing and succeeding and like really trial by error. And I was pretty sheltered and like helicoptered growing up. Very well intentioned, but like I had a lot of adult input. And when I wrote this album for the first time in my life, I had no adult input. At the time, I like wasn't in contact with my family. I wasn't in contact with some of the other people that mentored me and raised me. I wasn't in contact with my college professors. I was like in a new town, figuring it out, having just gone through like a major life change. And I was like, okay, what does it mean to be an adult on my terms with myself as the point person? And I found out that it means like I'm flirty and I'm genuine and I'm real. And some days I feel like the world is coming down on me, and then 30 seconds later, I'm hitting on a stranger at a bar. And then 30 seconds after hitting on that stranger at a bar, I realize I don't want to hit on a stranger at a bar. And then, holy shit, I'm having a panic attack. But also, like, in the middle of my panic attack, I have this just feeling in the pit of my stomach that I'm gonna be okay. And it's exploring my faith in a genuine way of like, not the perfect pretty prayer of, but like the prayer of I need a sign right now and you better show up and help me because I don't know what I'm doing. And I think there's just so much of I've been kind of in the past like a chronic perfectionist and thinking that perfection was the way that I was going to be a good person and almost the best person. And I've realized that actually like living and learning and trying has equipped me to be a far better person because now A, I know myself better, and B, like if someone else comes up to me and they're like, I made this mistake, I can be like, homie, I made that mistake too. And like, here's what I learned, and I can get through it. And I've realized that like, A, perfect really doesn't protect you, and perfect isn't fun, it isn't compelling, and it's not what we're here to be. We're here to be human, and being human is messy and beautiful and sacred and hopefully pretty fun if we're doing it right.
Yeah, I can hear, well, we talked about the constraints, and you're breaking those constraints, and there's power. You said, I felt power, and I feel power. And then at the next second, you feel fear? Am I making the right decisions? Did I help me, help me to decide what I need and what I'm looking for. But then there's that I can hear the excitement in your voice, that freedom. There's you're you're free to make mistakes. You're free to get messy. You're free to have fun. I mean, is there, in a way, have you ever felt that as much as you do now, that just that power and freedom at the same time, that exhilaration?
No, I don't think I have, and I think I also haven't felt this much like compassion for myself and others. Like I think a lot of the power and the freedom also comes from that compassion of like, well, of course you didn't know. It was your first time in that experience. Like, how were you supposed to know how to navigate that experience before you were in it? And also, like, there was so much power that came from actually like failing and making mistakes and realizing, oh, the world did not crash down. And actually, I also was able to figure out how to like solve that mistake and learn from it. And like, again, it's not that being a good person means not making a mistake. It means like I'm able to make mistakes and learn and grow. And the freedom and power, especially if anyone has heard my music and like knows a little bit about me, I had OCD and I have worked through that and like a lot of moral perfectionism coming up. And like the freedom of being like, actually, to be good, I don't need to get it right. And having living proof that I will be okay even if I'm not perfect has been so good for my brain and my mental health.
Yeah, and was there a moment where or did you just describe the situation? Was there a moment when you gave yourself that freedom? You forgave yourself. You said, I don't need to be perfect. Um, that this is all part of the journey for me. Do you remember that moment, or was it a gradual
I feel like
um,
I have several moments that
evolving?
stood out. Like, I definitely remember a conversation with my therapist where I was describing a situation and then describing how I processed it. And she was like, oh, it sounds like you messed up. But what you're also saying is you are a trustworthy person who can fix your mistakes. And I was like, oh, you are correct. And then also, I think that freedom came from calibrating what actually counts as a mistake. Like, I think there are plenty of people that would say, like, oh, talking about sex on the internet on a dating app is a mistake. And I was like, I don't think it was a mistake. I think that's something I would have been told not to do, but I think it was something that was really great and healing for me. Or I think I learned a lot from making out with multiple people on a dance floor. And I learned a lot from crying about it later. I learned a lot from diving in too quickly into that relationship and then feeling the heartbreak of it. I learned a lot from the dissatisfaction and the feelings of burnout, and I learned like what I was and wasn't willing to tolerate in my life. Like the first song on the album, Too Young to Die, is me rebelling against the feeling like of being burnt out and depressed and anxious all the time. And I was like, F that, I don't deserve to feel that way. And so I'm gonna change my life. And so there was the all these, I think kind of each song is a moment of realization. Like each song on the
Almost a birth of you in
album,
a way, right? A rebirth in a way of you kind of growing and within our ears and in our imagination, we are going along that trip with you, that journey of you discovering yourself.
definitely.
I'm sorry if I cut you off. Did
No,
I
yeah, it was
cut
perfect.
off
I'm
your
a
thought?
rambler.
No,
I'll go.
well, that's perfect because this is all about you. This is your show. Uh, if you didn't have music, do you think you would have come to some of these conclusions as quickly, or has the music and being able to explore your feelings and the experiences you go through lyrics and through music, has that helped you? Has that been almost a savior in a way? Or, would you have got to the same place, but maybe it would have taken you longer or at the same time?
I That's a tricky question because for me, it has been inherently what I have turned to every time I've had a question that I couldn't answer in any other way. And it's the way that I've learned to listen to myself, to the universe, to God, whatever the power it be, like whatever flows through me when I'm writing a song. Like, I feel like that is the purest form of wisdom. And I think there are a million other ways to have the realizations that I've had. And for me, I don't think there are things like I don't think there some of the things I don't think I would have realized unless I wrote the songs about them. Like I've had moments where I've sat down to write where I had no idea what I was feeling and I came away from it and I was like, I didn't even know that feeling existed in me. And now I have clarity on a situation that I didn't even know I was confused about. And that's like the most magical thing. And I also think for me, with writing songs, like there are situations that I was hung up on and I was pissed off about being hung up on. And then I wrote the song about it. And I was like, oh, that's why I was so fixated on this. Or like that's why I had this. Or even when I like really get into a spiral in my head of like, oh, should I have broken up with that person? Should I have not broken up with that person? Should I have made that choice? Should I have not made that choice? Should I have like gone for that job or not gone for that job? Sometimes I sit and I take inventory. I'm like, oh, well, if I didn't make that choice, this song wouldn't exist. And I wouldn't trade that song existing for the world. And that brings me back to me. It's just this anchor. So I think there are ways, and I probably could have figured it out, but I think it would have taken a lot more therapy than I've already been in and a lot more time. And I think the reason I gravitate to songwriting is it's because it's my soul's way of alchemizing and making sense of the world.
Mm. Do you have fears about sharing so much of yourself with your listeners?
No.
No?
And I maybe I should. I'm I never have fears about the songs. I have fears about promoting the song wrong, saying the wrong thing, talking about the song, not giving it justice. The songs themselves, I have inherent trust in. Like,
Mm.
and I don't know why, but it's nice because most of the time in my life, I doubt everything. So to have one thing that I'm very sure about. But I also, like, I think there's an intrinsic part of me that knows the songs are sacred and they're going to find who they're going to find. And I I think hearing my songs is the best way to know me.
Mhm.
And I think we all want to be known. I've spent a lot of my life like feeling very alone and like I didn't fit and all the things. And when I get to stand on stage and people are really listening to me when I'm singing a song, I know that they're hearing and seeing me. And them hearing and seeing me also allows them on a bigger, grander scale to hear and see themselves. And so while I feel awkward when I step off the stage and have to talk to people, and I sometimes feel awkward making the social media videos, I never doubt the song.
Have you heard from your audience at all on, and what do they say about your music and how it affects them?
Oh God. I mean, some of the coolest responses I've gotten are for my song Samantha, which is on my
Mhm.
EP. And
Beautiful
it's
song.
thank you. Yeah, it's a song that I wrote about my OCD and people being like to have and it was something that I wrote so personally because I was pissed off at my brain that day. And people coming up to me being like, I know someone with OCD or I have OCD and I've never felt seen and articulated in that way and I've never seen it like I just haven't felt someone explain it in a way that I can connect with or understand before. Like that's been magical. And that's right, like that's a big shiny one because it's like a hot topic, but with like songs on this album like If You're Gonna Love Me, I have so many people that come up to me and be like, I know that feeling. I know
Yeah.
exactly what it feels like to feel so lonely and lost and feeling like the only way you can find connection is through dating, but what you actually want is just like a family around you. And like, it's such a quintessential feeling that people don't always talk about. And I think I'm just wired to want to talk about and discover and work through the tricky thing. And I think I'm really lucky that I have such a strong language to do that, that then supports people with that. Oh, and
Hmm.
like one of the coolest things I ever had happen with a show, I have a few cool stories. But the one that stands out to me right now, I was playing a show and someone that I didn't know and had never met walked up to me and looked me in the eye and went, "Your music is ferociously true." And I'd like never heard my music described back to me in the way that I wanted it to be. And it was that moment where I was like, okay, I'm doing something right because that's how I feel when I write. And if it's resonating with people in that way, I know it's it.
What a cool experience to
Yeah.
hear that, I'm sure.
It was
Uh,
pretty awesome.
yeah, the song that we're referring to, we actually opened up our show with that, with Samantha, and there's a, I'm not going to quote the lyrics right because I'll mess them up, but I, I really heard, where I think you're facing your alter ego or or Samantha, you're, feeding her pennies, and the way they taste and the bitterness and the feeding the pennies for the ego and looking in the eyes and realizing she's scared. There's just you have such a way with words to really bring that imagery to life and feel that experience and be there with you.
Thank you.
But you do give a lot of yourself away with your lyrics. So I was wondering how that affects you. Does it sounds like it's a positive thing for your mental health. Is it ever a negative, or does it give you strength always that you're able to give so much of yourself away? You're really exposing who you are.
I think I come away from it feeling lighter. Like every time, like it feels good. And even if it's like a situation that I'm not proud of, having written about it, like I feel better and I feel lighter. I mean, I've definitely had some like funny and awkward moments, like playing Meet Me in the Bathroom at a show with my grandma there, right? And telling the story about it's about finding someone so attractive that you can't wait to get them home, so you hook up with them in a bathroom. Luckily, I have a very cool grandma, but like, yeah, it's
Grandmas get it. They've probably been there.
they do. And like it's so like funny to hear, right, to play a song called Sex on the Internet in front of your parents at a show. But other than that, like no, I feel really lucky that I doesn't feel like it's giving any part of myself away. It actually feels like each song brings me back to myself more. And the more honest I am, the more I connect and return to myself.
You've said that you find comfort in grief and beauty in sadness, and I really related to that statement as well. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's sometimes the grief and the sadness is when you feel the most, which could be painful, but is also so freeing, right? It's like you're alive. Can you
Oh
give
yeah.
me an example of where you find comfort in grief or beauty in sadness?
Yeah, I mean, so the song on the album that's about this is the song Sweet Melancholy, which is really funny because if you like listen to it on a surface level, it is the most sexual little thing, but it was actually me using sex as a metaphor for like my kind of entanglement with the grief and the sadness. And to me, especially when I was coming out of periods of feeling like the worst feeling for me is numbness. I hate feeling numb. And I had been coming out of this experience of like feeling numb and burnt out for a really long time. And then when you have sadness, it's this like big, hard feeling, but you feel that you're feeling. And like, so I was so relieved because I was like, oh, well, this feeling sucks, but I'm feeling, and how amazing it is to be feeling. And like, I think that's why I sometimes gravitate towards sadness is because it's such a big feeling and I'm someone that like loves to feel. And so it can feel really comforting to have it. But when I was writing Sweet Melancholy, I was also examining that of like, okay, but there are other big feelings. So like I have this attachment to sadness, like does it help me? Does it serve me? And like being playful and like it's a really playful and lighthearted song. Like I'm almost like making fun of myself a little bit about it, of like, oh, I'm a little sad girl. Like, what are you doing? But kind of getting to know and being like, okay, yeah, it is better to feel sad than to not feel anything at all. I think the line that I use in the chorus, it's better to feel too much than nothing at all. Right? And that's something that rings really true for me. Um, and the depth of the emotion is so compelling and there's so much there. And I feel like oftentimes we can push away hard feelings. And again, one of the reasons I love music is because they're like hard feelings are one of the coolest things to like feel into and bring into light and alchemize. But also I was like, okay, let me not get over attached to feeling sad. What does it feel like to
Mhm.
have the big feelings come in the form of like joy and love and celebration as well? So that was kind of the whole exploration around that song, but it started with me being like, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but sometimes I think it's fun to cry and I kind of like being sad and maybe I'm insane. And that's kind of where we went down.
That's a great explanation. So, on this album, on the new album, Feral, you explore what you say is the divine mess of being human. What messes in your life have you made that you're the most proud of making?
Oh, that's such an awesome question. Um, who?
Anything you maybe you can't admit it on the radio. So,
No, like I'm thinking about like I think the ones that I'm the most proud of making are like I had during this time a really, really complicated and messy estrangement with my family. And I'm not like advocating for estrangement or super proud of that, but that mess and me choosing to step away and go and focus on and find myself and figure it out and like hold my ground and stand my boundaries in the midst of this really messy situation is a mess that I'm really, really proud of. Because if I had chosen the neat, non messy version, I would have chosen something so counter and inauthentic. And like the mess of like, I mean, kind of every mess that I've made in the process of making this album is one that I'm inherently like proud feels like a weird word, right? Because I'm not proud if like there's a mess that I made that hurt someone, but I am proud of myself for feeling through it and learning from it. And so I think there's not a specific mess that I'm the proudest of, but letting myself really feel the mess and not need to fix it is something that I will be unshakably and undeniably proud of.
I like that. I think I can say this, and you'll agree that you're searching for a real connection. I think we're all searching for a real connection. What's real? Who's real? Who can we trust? Have you found what you're looking for?
I, in some ways, yes. I think in some ways more like romantically, like, no, I don't have like the perfect partner that I'm dreaming of or ideally at this moment in time, but I have found community and friends and connection. And like, most of all, I have found more of and continue to find the connection with me and my authentic self. And I think like finding that connection makes it so that I can find people. When I wrote If You're Gonna Love Me, I didn't feel like I had any friends. Now I feel like I have a group of friends that like know and understand me. I have to caveat, I did not feel like I had no friends. I've had the same group of amazing best friends since middle school, and my friends from college are excellent. But when I was in a brand new city, I didn't feel like I had anyone there.
Yeah.
But I cannot discount the amazing people that have been with me my whole time.
Yeah,
Um,
because right now they're listening going, what?
no, yeah,
I'm glad
they,
you corrected that.
I did have to call
What,
them. So there's a
Nicole?
line in Too Young to Die, um, and in the bridge, and it goes, "It's Tuesday and it's 10 a.m. and I'm crying on the phone again, talking to my childhood best friend, and I'm scared we've grown apart." And I had to call my childhood best friend, and I was like, I was having an anxiety attack. It's not that I actually feel like we're growing apart, but it was my brain telling me that. And they were like, "I know you. I know that's what happened, but like I did make that phone call because I was like, I care about you so much. Please don't think that that's what I'm saying. Um, but I feel like I have found the connection, and I also think in becoming more myself, like finding authentic connections is easier. Like I also like it's easier for me to like I'm still not great at it. I'm still notoriously a little awkward, but like flirt with the people I want to flirt with and walk away from the people that feels like it doesn't serve me. And like be more bold in my pursuit of connection and community and be more open of like hanging out with friends and just being able to be like point blank being like I'm overstimulated in this situation, or there's a voice in my head telling me that you don't like me right now, can you just like corroborate whether or not that's true? And instead of just like holding that anxiety in my body and trying to pretend to be calm, cool, and collected, I'll be like, hey, there's a thing that my brain is telling me, can you just confirm or deny so I can move on? And like being able to be that authentic with people, I think has come from knowing and trusting. And I am by no means like, I don't feel like I've got myself on lock. There are 50 million questions that I still have about myself all the time. But I think I've gotten more comfortable showing up imperfectly around people, and that has fostered a lot more intimacy in my life in general.
That's great. Okay, so what we've got to go, unfortunately, but this won't be the last time that you're on the show, I hope. I hope
So,
we get to follow your career and your music as you release it, Nicole. It's been so great to get to know you. I'm happy. The way that we met was through the through Radio Evolve in Santa Barbara, and I came across your music, and here we are. Final question for you, though, before we go, is what are your hopes and dreams? What do you hope for? What do you dream for right now?
oh God, that's been the question
Do we need
that's
another
been
30 minutes?
on my heart and mind. Um, I to be making music every day, playing for people I love, to have the financial security and stability to like have a family and send a kid to college and like with my art, and to get to like travel the world. Like I have the dream of hearing people sing my song back to me at stadiums, right? And I also have the dream of getting to write with other people and create songs with other people's stories and to like help tell even more. And just I know songwriting and music is like what I'm meant to do in my soul, and my big dream is getting to do it in a way where every day I wake up and I'm grateful for my life, even if I'm not having a perfect day. I'm just like so in awe of and grateful of the ways that I get to show up as an artist and a musician in the world, and the ways that my art has an amazing large scale positive impact on people and helping them be their freest and most authentic selves. And, in the practical, I would love to, have a nice roof over my head and be able to take vacations and eat good food and hang out with people I love while I do it. But
Just the little things. You're not asking for too much.
no.
Nicole Sophia, you are seriously a shining bright light. Um, you're so positive and you're so gifted in music. Thank you for sharing your little time with us today. And thank you for sharing your music. And the new album is Feral. It's coming out on October 29th. So we'll have Nicole back to remind all of us. But go to her website. You can sign up for her newsletter or her email blasts and get updates on where she's playing, when the album comes out. The format, it's an LP. It's coming out on CD and digital. And I love this description of the album. So I'm going to read it. Feral is Nicole Sophia's rawest chapter yet. It's a glitter smeared reclamation of self, written in the wake of heartbreak, growth, and self loving rebellion. Her upcoming full length debut LP is a love letter to the freedom that comes with embracing the full experience of honest, raw emotions. From midnight snacks to bathroom hookups, childhood memories to spiritual unravelings, Farrell doesn't tidy anything up. It lets it all out. This is not just music for crying on the floor, though it's great for that too. It's music for laughing while you do it, blending bedroom confessions with punk riffs and acoustic intimacy. Nicole soundtracks the divine mess of being human. Every song on Farrell holds a different flavor of feeling, too muchness, too soonness, too honest to hideness. Whether she's shouting for a miracle, dancing through a breakdown, or whispering hope into a panic attack, Nicole invites you to feel everything loudly. Fresh, flirty, and fearless, Farrell takes listeners through the complicated nuances of self discovery. The new single we're just about to play for you is called Meet Me in the Bathroom. Nicole's website is NicoleSophiaMusic.com. And on all her socials, you can find her at the same handle, Nicole Sophia Music, or you can find the links in the copy for this show. Also check out her debut EP, which was Reveal Your Heart. When I mentioned that, and you've got some great videos on YouTube, Nicole. I love it all. I'm going to give you last words here to thank any musicians that you played with or anyone that you worked on the album with. I know that, and I love Voracious Records. I know you're on that label. Anything you'd like to, anybody you'd like to thank or say goodbye to, Nicole?
Oh God, there are a million people to thank.
Do you have your notes? Don't forget anyone.
Well, if I do, it's all about the mistakes and messiness of being human,
There
right?
you go. You got
It's my
that.
feral era, if I mess up.
That's your
Um,
calling card.
no, Jim and Perry, especially at Voracious, talk about people that have seen me in all states of being, in all forms of messy. They've really stuck with me and supported me. Zach Wallace and Kyle Dorney on playing on the record have been amazing. Bella for supporting me with a lot of the like navigating social media and things like that. And there are so many people just on the label and on the record. And I also need to thank my bestie Anna because they are the person that I called about every situation on this album, and they've been there with me the entire time and seen my growth with this. And God, I don't think I would have gotten through half the breakdowns without them. And so all of the amazing
Thanks, Anna.
friends, yes, all of the amazing friends and people. And
Where can we see you perform?
Oh, if you go to my Bands in Town website, it'll tell you all of the times I'm performing. I do not have the mental bandwidth to keep it
Yeah,
in my head. If you check
you
it
got
on
a
my
lot of
Bands
shows
in Town,
coming up.
I
I
do.
noticed. That's
And
great.
I love playing live. So I really hope to see you there soon.
All right. Nicole Sophia, thank you so much. And here it is. Do you want to set it up? Your new
Yes,
single, Meet Me in the Bathroom.
here's my new single, Meet Me in the Bathroom. I hope you enjoy.
All right. Enjoy, everyone. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.